welcome to SVG-TV News on Monday, April 17th, 2023. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. The Ministry of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Sustainable Development and Culture today launched the Our Islands, Our Vibes Content Creators Campaign, Competition and Award Ceremony at the NIS Conference Room. Last week, the ministry hosted a digital content creators workshop for bloggers who will participate in the social media campaign competition. Close to 50 content creators are expected to participate in the social media campaign, which is expected to run for 7 months. Addressing the ceremony today, Minister of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Sustainable Development and Culture, Carlos James, said the activities signal the starting point of the transformation of the tourism sector, noting that in the next few weeks, they will also launch nationally a series of stakeholders consultations, which will take the form of community and town hall meetings to be held throughout the country in preparation of an expected boom in the tourism industry.
We know of the daily flights that are coming to our island now, the infrastructure development that is taking place from Royal Mill, Mayor Suites, La View Hotel, the Holiday Inn Express, the Marriott and Black Sands, and of course Sandals, to name just a few. We are projecting to add roughly about another 1,000 rooms by 2025-2026 to our existing room stock. This is going to simply mean more people on our island, more tourism-related investment and opportunities for persons in our services sector. And also, we have to prepare our people for this expected boom and the transformation that is likely to take place. And it really starts with all of us. And when I say all of us, I don't mean the government and the staff within the Ministry of Tourism, but it starts with all of us as a people. And as our tagline says, tourism is everyone's business. It is indeed the case, because all of us have that responsibility and that role to play in ensuring that we remain a hospitable people. We are known as perhaps one of the last few islands with a soul, and the different cultural aspects of every island that makes up our 32 island and keys. There is a different component and a feel when you go to you touch all of the islands and you feel it and you see it. We have to protect that. We have to promote it. And it is important that all of us prepare ourselves for what will be a new transformative era within our tourism sector.
Minister James told the participants that as content creators within the digital space, they are best suited to tell the story of the beauty of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Very often we use social media platforms for a lot of things which may not necessarily be positive. For instance, you're driving on a road and you're dropping a pothole. You're going to tweet that or post it up, the road won't fix. And we acknowledge that. But at the same time, we wouldn't stop, pause, look at the scenery in front of us, the majestic mountain sides of the ecological space on mainland, and the waterfalls and the ponds and rivers and the seascape. Or we go to the Grenadines and the beautiful sailing waters, or the beaches, or the culture that we immerse ourselves in at the Easterval and the regatta and so on. The cake dance at the traditional wedding that takes place on Myra or Union Island. All of these things are stories which are unique to us, that we also, by the click of a button, can tell our story to the world. So it really starts with us.
The tourism minister said as part of the transformation of the island's tourism industry, workers at the various ports of entry and others in the hospitality sector have to also rethink their interaction with visitors and even returning nationals to ensure everyone feel welcome.
I was just on island in the Grenadines on Thursday. And when I walked through the airport, I had to shake the staff up a little bit. There was no personality. They didn't smile. And we have guests that are coming at our ports of entry. And yes, we have to be serious with our jobs to ensure that we go through the necessary protocols as associated with our ports of entry. But we have to welcome visitors. And we have to tell them to enjoy our country. And I'm having an honest conversation with us as a people. So it starts with you as content creators within the digital space. But also, when you arrive on island, we must feel welcoming. And not just for visitors, but we also do share that level of hospitality and camaraderie with ourselves as Vincentians, those who are coming home, and those who are returning from travel. We have to take that bold initiative. Some may not like the comments I'm making, but we have to be frank and honest in our conversation. And then you meet the taxi operators outside the airports. And I know they have a discipline system, and they have several associations, at least 2 of them I know of. And they conduct themselves in an orderly manner. But we also have to step the game up where that is concerned, ensuring that we have a welcoming, continuous welcoming engagement and atmosphere. And then on my way from Argyle, I want to probably stop at a restaurant or one of the hotels, or check in and then go to lunch. I have to feel appreciated. If you're happy, I'm here. And within the hospitality services sector also, we have that responsibility to conduct further training and ensure that we have staff that can properly continue, both in the professional sense, but also with the tourism focus of why we're doing what we're doing.
Minister James says while for many years the Ministry of Tourism have been involving schools in tourism education, more can also be done to make tourism information more exciting and engaging.
So that the process of learning and the process of retooling and rethinking is done in a way that it feels as if all of us are a part of the agenda going forward, and all of us are very much in tune with the messaging of what we are to do. You may find that the approach of someone on mainland to tourism may be slightly different than someone in the Grenadines, whose primary survival is tourism or services related to tourism. On the mainland, if the cruise ships don't come, or the hotels are not filled, well, we have a piece of land we could go and farm. We're a traditionally and agricultural-based community or society on the mainland. Or we find other services that we engage in. But from the time when we recognize and acknowledge that tourism has a very important role to play within our economy and its contribution to our GDP, we will quickly start seeing ourselves more conscious and aware as the importance of tourism and its components, the arts, entertainment, services sector, and how important and integral the ecosystem is that makes the whole value added and the value chain turn. And in activities and engagements such as this program starts that facilitation of the transformation and the awareness.
And one of the facilitators of the Digital Content Creators Workshop, Candice Seeley, said the program is very timely, noting that competition is quite fierce in the tourism industry for destinations, activity providers and tour operators with more savvy travelers.
The tour of review websites, blogs that are out there that people are checking out on a daily basis. And in the words of Bill Gates, content is king. Digitization, among other things, has caused a shift and has changed the way people access knowledge, especially in the tourism industry. And vlogging, which is the type of content that the workshop focused on, is actually motivating travelers in making their decisions. It's actually affecting consumer behavior. In fact, travel vlogging is now established as a tourist research method, and it affects what tourists, including domestic tourists, what they do and where they go. I would like to join the minister in commending the Ministry of Tourism on having the foresight to produce this program. Over the period, the participants' learning experience covered a wide breadth of topics, including the different types of blogs that can be created. Insight was given as to how content creators can brand their content and also brand themselves as content creators. Attention was paid to digital marketing, including content marketing and social media marketing. In addition, best practices for posting of content as well as content creation. One of the highlights of the workshop was the field work. This is where the participants went to the leeward and windward side of the islands. They used their creativity. They used what they learned during the days in the workshop to produce their own content. And I can tell you, when we do see these videos, you will be totally blown away. We definitely have a lot of talent here, and we have a lot of participants who were very active and they were very attentive during the workshop.
Participant Genevieve McMaster thanked the Ministry of Tourism for hosting the workshop and urged other ministries and departments to follow suit by putting to good use the creative resources that are available locally.
We undoubtedly learned so much beneficial information. However, the unexpected value that I gained from this experience was hearing the different perspectives from across multiple institutions, backgrounds, and generations. This diverse group sparked many insightful conversations, and we were able to share our opinions and resources freely, all while bonding over our shared passion of creativity. Now, while this effort is being placed on digital content, the question still remains for some. What place do vloggers and content creators have in the tourism industry? In today's world, travelers rely heavily on online platforms to research and plan their trips. As content creators, it is our responsibility to ensure that we are providing engaging and informative content that promotes the unique things that our country has to offer. SVG is filled with talented creatives in the fields of filmmaking, photography, visual arts, music, drama, comedy, and the list goes on. And through these art forms, we can exhibit all that St. Vincent has to offer, catering to the different demographics and all of the interests of our locals. And yes, I do say locals because I believe that it is crucial that we develop an internal appreciation and pride for what we have in our own country before we can even think about sharing and marketing it to the foreigners. This is where local digital creators and social media personalities can bridge the gap and provide a reliable and relatable perspective, as media can be that connection from our country's ideals and getting the general public involved. Because you know and I know that tourism is everyone's business. So we must encourage each other to live it, love it, and embrace it.
And Communications Manager in the Ministry of Tourism, Julian Charles Scott, said the social media campaign, which includes various activities, is aimed at strengthening domestic tourism here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Ultimately, it will increase patronage to our destination, and of course, it will increase local patronage of our tourism products and services. So we have embraced domestic tourism. Let's together let's utilize the social media platforms for positive change. Together, let's promote our 32 islands and keys. To our friends, to our families, together, let's enjoy the culinary delights, the music, the vibes of our destination or our islands. Let's enjoy the beautiful beaches, whether it's the black or the white sand beaches, the cascading waterfalls. Let's cherish our culture, Let's embrace and bask in the nature of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is no doubt the Caribbean many are looking for. We are privileged to be here, and we have an opportunity to know here and to share the stories, the experiences of this diverse multi-island state. So if you haven't started as yet to plan for a local adventure, here's your chance. Then you need to start writing your adventure bucket list. Get your maps out and call your girlfriends, call your guy friends, call your partners, call your church groups, your clubs, call your friends, right? So let's together start planning, call everybody. Let's together start planning our staycations, our road trips, our weekend getaway. Let's create beautiful, fun, lasting memories in our beautiful 32 islands and keys. Yours to enjoy and yours to explore.
And preliminary work will commence in the next 2 to 3 months on the first Marriott Hotel, here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is according to MP for Central Leeward, Randy Brewster, on WFM Issues at Hand program on Sunday. Brewster, however, noted that a construction plan for the hotel, which will be constructed at Montwin, had to be re-examined.
Marriott was supposed to start some preliminary work, I think, in July of this year, July of this year. We had to relook the plan for the hotel itself, and we are still in that stage because of the increase in cost in materials and so on. It has ballooned the figure so much that now we have to probably look at just a slight variation in some of the designs, so that we can have the Montwin Marriott completed in the very near future.
The government inked an agreement with Marriott International in September 2019 to manage the state-owned 250-room hotel that will be built at Montwin. The hotel is expected to be built with a US $50 million loan from Taiwan. Speaking on other projects in the Central Leeward constituency, Brewster said by the end of this month, a consultation will be held with Layo residents on the Jackson Bay project.
And not forgetting also on Tourism Pigeon, by the end of this month, I want to have a consultation with the folks in Layo on the Jackson Bay project. Excellent project. We're going to see a development there added to the waterfront going north. So we want to make sure that at the end of that, you have the best of both worlds. And I would tell you this, I came in on a flight there on Thursday, and I was having a conversation with the air hostess, asking her if she's ever spent time in St. Vincent, other than just hopping in and hopping out. And she said, it has always been an interest for me to come and see what it's like. And she started questioning about, she said she's one who's big on beaches. And so I asked her, have you ever experienced a black sand beach? And she said, no, I've never experienced that. Most of the beaches, it's white sand beach that I've visited. And I said, I use the opportunity to sell my constituency well.
Shedding some light on the Sandals Resort project at Buckermont, Minister Brewster said the project is coming very nicely and rapidly.
The beachfront, as you would know, that we are doing some enhancement of the Buckermont beachfront. Excellent project, part government with partnership with Sandals Resort, and the hotel is coming on very nicely, and it's moving very rapidly. And I've been reading keenly an article highlighted in the newspaper there, but I think they got the story totally wrong. I think it's a story that they're trying to cause some mischief in Buckermont Bay. And, the persons, the residents of Volcano Bay, they are happy for such a magnificent project happening on the bayfront. And we are not doing this thing in a haphazard manner. There's a total plan for the area, beach enhancement that would incorporate washroom facilities, vending stalls, because, you know, we have some vendors who occupy the beach area, and they're doing well in terms of getting their product to the tourists and so on. But we have to make sure that we have proper facilities, because the washroom facility is needed in the area, because Volcano Beach is a hot spot now in the country as it relates to tourism. And we have to make sure that we put all the proper things in place.
And Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kiesel Peters, said Taiwan does not nor plan to own St. Vincent and the Grenadines, a sovereign state which has been a partner and allied for over 42 years, 4 decades. Senator Peters' comments come in light of public discussions on the level of indebtedness of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to Taiwan, which has been disclosed to be around 577.9 million EC dollars. The government senator and ambassador of the Republic of China, Peter Ling, were panelists on the API's Morning SVG program today, discussing the tension on the Taiwan Strait.
Very unfortunate, the narrative that I see emanating. But I intend to address that issue very soon, and I know we will not have time this morning to address it, but I intend to address it. Because, you know, it appears that some persons, they are allergic to progress, but we are not allergic to progress. We are 100% for progress, and we go forward to ensure that this country develops in a way for the benefit of ourselves and for future generations.
On the current tension on the Taiwan Strait, Minister Peters said St. Vincent and the Grenadines is calling for peace, solidarity and prosperity for all the nations across the geographical space.
Taiwan has been a partner of St. Vincent and the Grenadines since 1981. This year we're going to be celebrating 42 years of diplomatic relations. That is a significant amount of time. And Taiwan and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we have partnered in many areas, and Taiwan has contributed to the development of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in every sector you could think of. You can see the handprints, the footprints of Taiwan and its partnership with St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines has also been in Taiwan's corner. We've been unequivocal about it. We don't hem and haw when there are, for instance, what is happening now, the tensions and the military drills that are taking place, you know, in an effort to intimidate the people of Taiwan and the government of Taiwan. And it would be remiss of St. Vincent and the Grenadines if we do not speak out about it. Not just as an ally of Taiwan, but as a member of the international community, and a member of the international community who has proven time and time again its capacity to lead, and to lead by example.
Commenting on speculations made by the U.S. intelligence that China is preparing to invade Taiwan in the next few years, Taiwan's ambassador, Peter Ling said they are hoping that will not be the case, as they seek constructive engagement to find a peaceful resolution to the situation.
We are doing everything possible alongside with all like-minded countries to prevent that from happening. Of course, the military experts can always have their speculations, and we are doing our best to prepare for the worst. But I have to emphasize that we are also seeking to the last minute a peaceful solution to the situation, which again I have to emphasize was created unilaterally by the military exercises launched by the Chinese government, not by us. So far, we are acting very cautiously. We do not do anything that could further escalate and provoke anything uncertain in the future, we can assure to our international friends, we don't want to see that. But we also want to do our own preparation.
In more local news now, we hear that Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves on radio on Sunday maintained the position that there will be no hosting of fetes on hard courts and at schools, suggesting some open spaces where promoters can hold these activities, including the Solidarity Inc. car park in capital Kingston and at Rabuka on the windward side of the island. On the BFM Issues at Hand program on Sunday, PM Gonsalves said hard courts were not built to accommodate fetes, they are sporting facilities.
Been some open spaces in some particular areas where people can put up tents and they can do things. Yes, some of them are not, well, most of them are not enclosed, so you'll have to put up, if it's temporary perimeter fencing. You can't have a wet fet, for instance, on a playing field, so you'll have to have somewhere else.
And that elsewhere, not unless they go like on the tarmac or something like that, to get permission.
Well, the tarmac at the top is available now. But when it is made, when the hospital is there, that would not be available. And of course,
yes.
When the city is built out, but there will be space in the city for that kind of activity. There'll be open space in the city for that kind of activity. There's an open space in Kingston now at the car park. Solidarity car park for having big cultural events, entertainment and the like. You have that at Victoria Park, for instance, or you can have it at any other playing field. But if you're going to, you can't put on a wet fet at Victoria Park because you'll make the field waterlogged. In some places you may have a, like in Langley Park. You have a facility almost similar to the one up at Lacroix. You can do things at Rabuka. You'd have to put up lights. You'd have to put fence. We have to do things, but we can't. Not because we. You can have a calypso tent inside of the Chile playing field. You see what I mean? A lot of people will be standing.
Yes.
Like what happened at Victoria Park when you have when you have semi-finals, now people are sitting, but of course you have far more people standing.
The Prime Minister said the problem he's talking about is not with having mass activities, but the destruction that fetes such as wet fetes have on hard courts. The Prime Minister said he doesn't see any other places in the world where persons will use small hard courts, which were designed for sports, to have destructive fetes.
But I don't see how we can reasonably, I don't know where else in the world you're going to have these small hard courts, because they're all relatively small hard courts, designed for sporting purposes, and have this kind of activity with the number of feet pounding on all of these places and the fence pushing it down and all sorts of things. I mean, there are sporting people too, you know. We used to allow school weddings for schools. We don't, for some time now, we don't allow them because we have built learning resource centers. When we had weddings in schools, the wedding will take place on a Saturday or Sunday, and on Monday, either half day or the whole day. People can't go into the schools because what is left now, the garbage, how the thing isn't properly rearranged back and so on and so forth, and the destruction of state property. But Joel, I don't see how we can justify, anybody can reasonably justify, that you're having these fetes where people jumping up and they tossing this and that and creating and mashing up the place. I don't see how that there are enough spaces that you can have your fet. The real problem is this phenomenon of wet fetes. Because you can't hold a wet fet inside on a playing field. You can hold a wet fet down by a beach.
And the police here are investigating a shooting incident that has resulted in the death of Michael Richards, a 47-year-old businessman of Otley Hall, which occurred shortly before 10 p.m. on Friday, April 14th, 2023 in Queens Drive. The police say preliminary information revealed that Richards was standing in the doorway of his liquor and provision shop in Queens Drive when two men wearing hoodies ran up to him and shot him several times about his body. Upon arrival on the scene, the police met Richard's motionless body lying on the ground. The district medical officer visited the scene and pronounced the victim dead. A post-mortem examination is expected to be carried out on the body to ascertain the exact cause of death. Anyone with information that can assist with the investigation is encouraged to contact the police. In other news now, we heard that the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and the Agency for Public Information, are inviting residents of Barley and surrounding areas to a town hall meeting to commemorate the activities to mark the second anniversary since the last explosive eruptions of Lasofre volcano. A news release said the meeting will take place at the Barley Learning Resource Center tomorrow, Tuesday, April 18, 2023, from 5:30 p.m. NEMO said the purpose of the meeting will be to update residents on the present status of Lasofre volcano and to provide a forum to share experiences and lessons learned from the explosive eruptions of the volcano in 2021. The featured speaker will be Dr. Thomas Christopher with the UWI Seismic Research Center based at the Montserrat Volcano Observatory. Residents of Barley and surrounding areas are asked to make a special effort to attend the town hall meeting tomorrow at the Barley Learning Resource Center. The women-led businesses across St. Vincent and the Grenadines are being invited to join the Economically Empowered Women for Equitable and Resilient Society's Women Economic Empowerment WE project. This invitation is being extended by the Organization of American States, the OAS, through its Executive Secretariat for Integral Development in collaboration with the Government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines through the Center for Enterprise Development, Inc., CED. The OAS WE project today opens its call for expression of interest for women-owned businesses to apply for selection under the project. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is among 6 countries to benefit from activities that will aid female entrepreneurs in participating in the digital economy. Women entrepreneurs in the startup near market-ready and market-ready categories are encouraged to take advantage of the opportunities that will be made available under the project to enhance their capacity to build an online presence and access the digital economy, international markets, cutting-edge information on relevant topics for business development and mentoring opportunities. CED say they will also receive support from the National Working Group in country and partner institutions to enhance their business. The CED is urging women entrepreneurs to take advantage of the opportunity and register before the deadline on April 27, 2023. For more information, you can contact the CED online or at its office in Capital Kingstown.